Well, here at Croke Park, Kerry are through to this year's All-Ireland football semi-finals to play the winners of Mayo versus Meath in their quarter-final. This afternoon it finished Kerry 1 goal and 23 points, Dublin 1 goal and 7. That goal for Kerry came right at the start. The Gooch, he set the template for the rest of the day in a way.
Well, I predicted him for 1-4 from play. I think that he only scored 1-3 today, huh? And it's the quicksilver feet. You know, he's such a beautiful Gaelic footballer. You know, I think probably, you know, the most naturally gifted footballer in the game. And it's just his all-round awareness. At one stage in the second half, you know, he makes that look a lot more easy than it is. At one stage in the second half, he had very, very little room there. But at one stage in the second half, you know, he scored a beautiful fisted point, and his decision-making is always immaculate.
It summed up the whole thing too, I suppose. Stephen Cluxton had done very well. He saved 3 or 4 other certain goals. But David Henry running back, the ball goes between his legs and he runs into the post. It's sort of in the first 30 seconds summed up Dublin's day.
One player we must mention in that, because it was a brave move by Jack O'Connor to bring back Mike McCarthy after a 2-year absence from thing, and to come back in the panel only a couple of weeks ago. And he was man of the match last Sunday against Antrim, and he's a very steady head, very composed, and he brings the ball out of defence, and he has really tightened up that Kerry defence.
Definitely.
All right,
Sorry
to cross you, Joe. Let's hear from the Kerry manager, Jack O'Connor. He's talking now to Joanne.
Well, Jack, I'm sure you knew that you had something big inside you. Did you know that it could be quite that big?
Yeah, we felt there was a big performance in us, Joanne, to be honest with you. I said it during the week. We had too much put into this to throw in the towel, you know, and there was a lot of people writing us off, but we felt ourselves that we had an awful lot of work put into this, and we didn't feel like going out of the championship the first week of August, so just delighted for the lads. They worked really hard and they got their just rewards today.
The goal really set things up so early as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dublin prided themselves on getting a fast start and getting the hill behind them, and we were very adamant that we were going to put it up to them in the first 10 minutes, and obviously the goal and a couple of points settled us. It just gave O'Flynn a bit of belief, and we played with great confidence after that.
Now, Declan was saying that they're used to listening to critics and getting criticism of the team, but it seemed even more in recent weeks. Did that help kind of fire you up for this?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of people who get a bit of pleasure out of criticising you, especially when you're not going well. We felt ourselves we were trying really hard. The management and the players were giving it everything, and that's the only thing that mattered to us. If it were otherwise, we'd have said so. But sure, look, people can say what they like and write what they like. It doesn't trouble us. It used to trouble me once upon a time, but it doesn't anymore, actually. And in many ways it helped to gel us and bring us together, because we felt that if we stuck together, that it didn't matter what people were saying about us. That's the way it was.
Well, that's how it looked as well. You made several substitutions today. You took Tommy Walsh off quite early. Was that purely tactical, or is he an injured out of any kind?
I don't think so, no. I don't think so. I mean, Tiggy was very close to making the team, and was a bit disappointed he didn't. And look, we just decided we'd give him a bit of match time, and look, Tommy had better days.
You had several substitutes, and they all did contribute as well as the starting players.
They did. I mean, there are a lot of fellas champing at the bit there, trying to get in, and I mean, we have a month now to a semi-final, and there's a chance again for other fellas to come to the fore. Paul O'Connor has come from the back of the pack right into the frame in the last few weeks, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a couple of other guys now to put up their hand in the next month, and it's a long year, Joanne, and you know, form can be up and down, and we're going to look for fellas in form now in the next 4 weeks, and you never know, some other fella might come out of the woodwork.
Well, you're in top form today. Thanks a lot, Jack.
Thanks very much.
Well done, Jack.
And there'll be some crack at training down in Kerry, I can tell you, the next couple of weeks. If it hadn't been for the vigilance of Stephen Cluxton, it could have been an awful lot worse for Dublin today.
It certainly would. Jack O'Connor could have said, "Oh, ye of little faith," but I suppose he realises he has 2 more rivers to cross, so he'll keep that till the end of September. But Cluxton was brilliant, and in this particular case, you know, Declan O'Sullivan probably should have did a dummy solo and come back around him, but again, Cluxton spread himself very well, and I think this is the particular case where he makes the best save of all, you know, because Paul O'Connor does a beautiful hop with the ball, a real basketball hop, hops it around his back. Cluxton going the wrong way, gets back, but at that stage it was window dressing for Kerry. They were go on.
He'd be an excellent, excellent soccer goalkeeper. He's great balance, and he works very hard, and is core and his body strength.
He needs to be vigilant. He wasn't getting too much help from his defence at times, but the Kerry defence today, Pat, was very impressive.
That was superb. Do you know there's something you can't coach, or no, it's not an annual manual, or there's no drills for it, and that's hunger. And the Kerry defence today wanted to get first to the ball. They were first, whereas you look at the Dublin forwards and they were waiting for things to happen. That was a brilliant, that was a very intelligent clearance by Mike McCarthy, and flicked it back to some. But you look at this, this was a Dublin player's ball, waiting for the ball. If Kerry defender attacked it, and you saw that all day long. That's hunger, Mike. That's players wanting to make it happen. All
right, Pat, it's obviously been a shattering day today for the Dublin manager, Pat Gilroy, but he's agreed to talk to Joanne.
Well, Pat, all the expectation, all the form earlier on in the championship, what do you think happened today?
I think we froze. We looked like started earwigs for the first 15 minutes all over the place, and we weren't getting to the speed of the game at all. Right around the middle third, they were flooding through on us, and then that killed our full back line. I mean, it just totally opened us up, and we were behind all over the place. And then even when we did get ball, we just weren't winning in our full forward line. So there was nowhere that really we got to the game in the first 20 minutes.
Do you think conceding that goal so early, did that have a huge effect on the outcome?
I think from the off we weren't at the races, and we've got to sit down and analyse why we weren't at the races, because we've worked very hard, and we just did not do ourselves justice out there at all today.
Made several substitutions throughout the game. We saw Kieran Whelan come on quite early. That's a couple of times now he's come in, made a bit of a difference as he did today. Do you think in hindsight that perhaps the selection wasn't quite spot on today?
Look, we could have had 10 different guys. There was an awful lot of guys who were below par. Kieran did very well when he came in. I suppose we were hoping that we wouldn't have to put him in as early as we did, and that our guys would perform in the middle. It didn't happen, and we just have to sit down and have a long hard look at it.
Huge job for you now, is it, in order to get these guys motivated again for the next season?
Look, it's in sport. They're not going to give up, and they're not the type that'll give up. They've bounced back from last year, but we have to ask serious questions of ourselves and really find the answers, because you don't want to be coming out here every summer having that kind of performance as your last.
That's for sure. Thanks a lot, Pat.
No problem.
Pat Gilroy, the Dublin manager there. Joe Brolly, started the weeks, he said.
Well, it's an art that the best teams have to get to the pace of the game quickly. Tyrone yesterday struggled a wee bit at the start against Kildare, but at half time, that was cured and then rattled off 6 points in a row. Dublin just don't have that ability to hold up the game, and until they start to develop it, when things are getting on top of them to slow it down, they're not going anywhere.
Funny thing is, Dublin are out of the championship to Meath still have a chance of being in the All-Ireland semi-final.
Fighting it longer than Dublin, but I don't know. I don't see that Mayo or Meath are going to beat Kerry, and there's a certain inevitability about all of this. At the beginning of the year, you said Cork and Kerry and Tyrone were the three best teams. I think they're going to be the three real teams. Whoever ends up in the final will be a proper game.
Can Kerry win the All-Ireland, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, they've taken a good performance today. They're cute enough to know that there's more in them. They need to up to work it. They'll face teams from now on with greater intensity, but they're on the right lines. Yes, they're on the right track.
Free kicks.
They upped it a fair bit today. They work great, I can tell you. Now, if you've been watching our coverage over the weekend, you'll know that we've been running a very special competition. That's tickets for two to both the football semi-finals. It's also overnight accommodation here in Dublin and €1,000 in spending money. And our winner is Fonzie Patton, and Fonzie comes from Strabane in County Tyrone, so obviously he'll have a huge interest in those tickets and that prize for those semi-finals. So congratulations to you, Fonzie. I'm sure you'll thoroughly enjoy those weekends. Right? Joe Brolly, Colin O'Rourke and Pat Spillane have been here with me for the afternoon. My thanks, of course, to them. Best luck with the horse running down Naas, Colin. Thank you for watching. Until the next time, bye-bye.
Watch you sleep, watch you smile.